Hi, yeah. Hello. Yeah, I'm back again. It's me again. So I was going to make this video, right, about what's wrong with people. Um, and I had loads of really good ideas, and because I've realised now I can make 10-hour videos up to 10 hours long. Uh, I'm not too worried about getting it all right at the beginning. I've got reasons for that. It's like I know a lot of people are more interested in quick videos and yeah. Who's got time to waste? Time's a commodity. But the thing is, you got there's this discrepancy. There's this sort of balance now, or these two sort of a division rather, a division where you've got people who have got money but not very much time, and then you've got people who've got no money but loads of time. So I'm probably aiming more at the people that have got no money and loads of time, So what got me started on this was, the people wearing black and blue, and the fact that it just goes back in history. I see it like a symptom of their sort of like, they're like in the box. They're in the box. They don't know how to think outside the box, and their box has become its own coffin. People that can't, and it goes back to Plato, and the parable of the cave, or the analogy of the cave, whatever it is. And the fact that people just will not see out the box, it's like these people that like this majority of people, or about 50% of people, who won't believe anything that the government or the media doesn't like push, and they will believe anything that the government does push, but nothing that they don't push. Because I do a lot of reading, because I don't like watching videos too much. I don't like being on the computer that much. I don't like watching TV, or even talking to people that much. So I just read, even though I've made a lot of videos about the written word being a great evil, right? But I just mentioned quickly that I qualify that with there's various different bits of mythology and history and stuff that relate to the fact that the Bible is a great evil. You've got Socrates, who's outright outspoken about it. You've got the Book of Enoch, where it clearly says in the Book of Enoch, that it's a very great evil. And you've got the Coptic Christians who use the Book of Enoch, right? As well as there was another branch of Christianity that's not so well known. But you're talking quite a few millions of people, that to them the Book of Enoch is a significant part of their tradition. And so they know that the written word is a great evil. It's not like I'm not the only one. It's like there are, millions and millions of legitimate Christians that believe the same thing, or at least they should do, because it's part of their scripture. You've got other people. You've got William Burroughs, who wrote Naked Lunch. He was, against the written word, but he was a writer. So, just because you're against the written word, it doesn't mean that you're against everything. You're not. Doesn't mean that I'm like, paranoid of reading and writing, or that I think it's all bad. Pandora's Box is another story about, as far as I'm concerned, about the written word. I think of it as Pandora's books. All that was left in the books after Pandora opened the box was hope. So it's like we're stuck with it. We're stuck with the written word, but most people don't understand that it is a great evil. It's like, for example, let me try and put it into an analogy. Make a little story to try and make it make more sense. Well, there's different. While I'm thinking of a story, I'll tell you a little parable from the Bible. Another one, because most people don't read the Bible; they don't really know what's in the Bible. But you've heard the expression "shoot the messenger," right? This is straight out of the Bible. In the New Testament, Jesus Christ is telling this story that God sent these people. I forgot the details of the story. Somebody might be able to explain it better than me. I expect a lot of people could. But what happened was, there's a couple of stories. I forget how it goes now. I'm thinking of the story of the people he gave the gold to, and one of them buried it in the ground, one of them invested it, and another one invested it even better than the other one, and that's a different story, isn't it? Anyway, there's another story. I think, he left someone to look after the land, and then he sent messengers to sort of tell them what to do, or to sort of like he was going to take back over the land or something. Again, it's like I don't read the Bible anymore, but I'm sure there's a parable in there, and you probably think I don't know what I'm talking about because I can't remember what parable it was. But anyway, I'm sure it's in there somewhere that God sent these messengers to these people, and instead of listening to what they said, they killed them. I'm absolutely sure of it. You know, it's where the story of shoot the messenger comes from, because that's what people do. So I'm just going to go on to some like other possibilities from when I'm talking. What occurs to me, because I've got a bit of it's the new moon. Nobody's going to watch this video, so it doesn't matter if I rabbit on a bit. Right. Okay, right. So I'm going off on a tangent. People don't really, making a video on the new moon is not a good time to make a video. So that's why I'm making a video now. I decided, I don't really care. I don't really want lots of viewers. I actually quite like the idea of my channel getting so small that I'm the only person that watches it. I know, that's really sad, isn't it? It's just that people seem so terribly fucking stupid to me. They really seem so stupid. I just don't want anything to do with people anymore. Oh dear. I mean, maybe there is something wrong with me. I have to try and keep an open mind. Maybe there's something wrong with me. But the thing is, when I go out and see everybody wearing black and blue, like I was making these videos earlier about this, when I see everybody wearing black and blue, I know there's something wrong with them. It's like it's not like I'm suspicious there might be something wrong. I know it. It's my intuition is telling me. It's like I'm getting real big alarm bells going off in my body. I try and ignore it, but I can't. I know that there's something wrong with these people. I just know it. It's like I don't even know how to explain it. I just know it for sure. It's 100%. I'm totally convinced that there's something wrong with people, and it's not just me. It's like there's a substantial amount of people that are very intelligent and very aware and awake people, and they say the same thing that there's something wrong with people, but what is it and how do you change it? Because it seems like there's nothing you can do about it. It's okay, let's look at some ideas. Maybe, right, just for example, only about 10% of people have free will, right? Let's just say that. Now, the other 90%, if you suddenly start using the written word, now this becomes like magic to them. They can't understand it. No matter what, how much they think about it or whatever they do, they can't understand what it is. They can't understand that it is a magical technology. It controls people. It's dangerous. They can't understand these things because it looks so harmless. It's just like little things written in a book, right? Okay, if it's so harmless, well, what's the difference between that and a computer virus that shuts people's computers down? Okay, what's the difference? Why is there a difference? You know, why should little bits of squiggly patterns on a bit of paper be any different to a computer virus? You know, explain to me the difference. Why there's a difference? Anyone? Because I can't see it. You know, the Book of Enoch states about it. You know, that it's the written word is a great evil. As far as I can tell, Solomon said it. Socrates said it. The greatest minds that have ever lived always come to the same conclusion. That's why I feel like I don't mind having only hardly any viewers, because I know I'm right. I don't want loads of people arguing with me and asking me stupid questions and that, and you know, hating me or trying to find out where I live and who I am so they can kill me because I'm speaking the truth. I'm quite happy just to have a small channel. I like making videos on the new moon because I know no one's going to watch them. They're not going to do well. People will forget them very quickly. So I can let myself go, you know, I can let my hair down, even though I haven't got much hair at the moment. I can still let it down, you know. Ah, dear. So anyway, I'm just going to let this video go on a bit because I know I can only make 10-hour videos. I made a 12-hour video the other day. I was quite good. So I'm just going to sort of see how a longer video goes. I'm going to make some food in a minute. What have I done today? So today I've bought a bottle of Ouzo. You know, I do this from time to time. I get something different just for a change. A change is as good as a rest, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's like a holiday. And that's the end of my beer. What have I got here? I don't know what was in there. So anyway, so I'm having Ouzo. Something different. So it's 40%. It smells of aniseed. It's not bad, actually. It's quite sweet. You know, as far as strong alcohol is concerned, you know, 40%. I wonder if it catches light. Yeah, it didn't catch light easily. I think you have to heat it up before it catches light. Anyway, So what the thing about ouzo, when you put water with it, it goes white. So just normal water, put it with ouzo, it goes white. Nice little bit of magic there. There's a story I like about ouzo. There's this guy doing some grape picking. I forgot where the story come from. But there's this guy doing some grape picking in France. And they've got something similar in France to ouzo. Pastis, I think it's called. It's the same thing. It's made from anise, star anise or something. And they mix it with water like this. You know, they have a big jug of pastis, and then they have a big jug of water. So you mix them together. You pour out your aniseed, your pastis, and then you top it up with water. You know, about 50-50. Make a sort of drink that's 20% alcohol, so you can drink it while you're doing your grape picking, right? And this used to be quite common amongst the grape pickers 30 or 40 years ago. I don't know what it's like nowadays. I ain't been there for a long time, since I was a kid. Anyway, so this guy, who's an English guy, right? And he's doing this grape picking. It was hot weather, you know, in sort of September in the south of France. He started feeling a bit dehydrated, so he went and poured himself out some water, right? Because they look the same, you know. You know, a bottle of ouzo, it just looks like water. It's clear. Then you got water, it just is clear. I don't know why it makes me laugh, this story. I just really like it. But he poured himself out a glass of water, right? And then just as he was about to drink it, this French guy ran over to him really quickly and grabbed his arm, stopped him and said, "No, no, it's just water." It's like as if the French guy was worried, like, that he could have poisoned himself from just drinking plain water. You had to mix it with the pastis or the ouzo, you know. Oh dear. Things are changed so much in the last 30 or 40 years. I mean, you don't notice change like this. It catches up with you gradually. Unless you're like me, who's got intuition, you can see it. I just look at history, you know. I know a lot of houses in England, 200 years ago or 300 years ago, they were like a few £100. Now it's like a few £100,000 to buy a house. You know, the same houses, you know, you could have bought them like 300 years ago for like a few £100. Now it's a few, those same houses are like a few £1,000,000, some of them, you know. And you could have bought them for like £500 or £600 like 300 years ago. We think of inflation as normal. We actually had in England, there was a period of 200 years, right, where there was no inflation at all. There was no inflation. Everything stayed the same price for 200 years. How is that possible? Well, you know, it's like that's what happened. If you don't know this stuff, you can't see what's happening. You know, you need a certain amount of history to understand what's going on in the now. You know, it's like the dimension that you need. You know, otherwise, if you're looking at things in 2 dimensions, you don't realize that it's 3-dimensional. So you need history is like that 3rd dimension. You need to understand it. See, this is really pleasant now. So I put about twice as much water as ouzo. So it's about the same sort of strength as wine, about 13%. It's a bit sweet. You know, it's just nice alcohol. It's clean tasting. It's got that aniseed sort of flavour. It's sort of clean. It's got a clean sort of taste. Okay. If anyone's watching, you know, I know it's like nobody's really watching. It's the new moon. If anyone's would like to ask me or answer my question, what is wrong with people? Because you know, it's one of those things. It's like you know, Plato and Socrates were asking about this. What's wrong with people? Why can't you wake them up? Okay, let me go back to what I was talking about. Yeah, a little while ago. What if these people have got no free will, and once you've got the written word, it just fucks their heads up, right? And they get a hold of it, and they like act all stupid, and they start destroying the world. And once they've got it, they don't want to let it go. And it's whoever's come up with the idea in the first place was a terrible person. So I sometimes think maybe it was me, and I just had to come back and deal with all this shit, you know. Maybe I come up with this idea. It could quite likely be that, you know, that's what happened. You know, I was born in another lifetime. Because it's said that Enoch or Mercury was the originator of the written word. Now you've got like Greeks, they sort of talk about is it Hermes? I think, yeah, Hermes. I forget now. Yeah, probably Hermes is the Greek version. Mercury's the Roman version. Pretty sure about that. I suppose I could be wrong. I can always be wrong, I suppose. Anyway, so he's the guy that's supposed to have given people the written word, brought the written word to people. Norse mythology, you've got Odin. I mean, you probably need to do a lot of research. I can't really just talk to you about all this stuff without you knowing some of the background. Again, with the history, you know, you want to move on from this stuff. It's really hard to talk about it because you don't know what your audience knows. You don't know how much you're going to have to supplement their knowledge with bits and pieces to sort of give them a little bit of background, a bit of bump leading up to what you want to say, how much history you need to impart, you know, how ignorant are your viewers. You know, I don't know these things. It's very difficult to know. And also, it's not such an easy thing to say, well, look, you need to go and study your history, go and read Plato's Republic, go and read, you know, that Egyptian book. You know, there's a few Egyptian books about, you know, the Egyptian gods. Go and read like the Greek classics and stuff, and about the Roman gods and the stories and stuff like that. It just goes on and on and on. There's no ends to it. And so, like, I could sit around waiting for 50 years for you to get back with me when you're all like senile old men and you can't remember like last time you changed your colostomy bag or whatever. Let alone know anything about history. And that's the problem. It's like only a few people stand any chance of reading enough history and the right history quickly enough to be able to catch up with people like me and what I'm talking about. So there's no point me having like loads of viewers because nobody will understand what I'm talking about. So I can tell you that, you know, the written word is a great evil. It's not just me. The greatest minds in history have come to the same conclusion. But you're probably thinking, well, they didn't have the internet, did they? And I was saying, well, no, but they weren't destroying the planet either. They weren't creating a man-made mass extinction event. You know, when you've got no more food to eat and the world is all falling apart, then tell me that they didn't have the internet. You know, see what difference it makes. You know. So I walk around, I see these people with their smartphones. They're sort of, their heads are buried in their smartphones. These people walking around with their earphones so they don't have to hear anything except what's on their iPod, you know, if that's the right word. Ah, dear. Anyway, so I don't know if, apparently there's no watchers today. I'm not surprised because it's the new moon, but I'm going to make food now. I won't be that long, but I'm going to be in the kitchen. Oh, while I'm in the kitchen, I'm going to tell you some other stuff, right? Okay, so look, have a look at my kitchen. You probably can't see it. Let me turn this light off. See, look at that. See how it's like, you can see the reflection of my glasses, but you can't see me. That's fun, isn't it? Anyway, I wanted some red light bulbs. I was looking around the shops near where I live. I couldn't find any. I bought some a few years ago, and it's funny that what you can see of my light in my actual vision, it's it's like a red silk scarf or sort of like handkerchief sort of thing. Covering my lampshade, but on the computer it looks like yellow. When I look at it in my, in real life, it's red. It's obviously very red, plainly red. But I look on the screen here. Hang on a minute. It looks white. If I put my blue blocker glasses on, it looks yellow. But in actual fact, it's red. Who knows what reality really looks like? Anyway, the light in my kitchen at the moment, I just got these new lights. They're called pygmy bulbs, and they look like this, like a red little bulb, a bayonet sort of attachment. $15 watts. They remind me of like the submarine sort of films where, the submarine goes down, sinks to the bottom of the sea, and all the electric goes off, and then the emergency lights come on, those red lights, and everything looks like red and not very bright. That's what these lights are. I really like them, because you can still see okay. I can still see what I'm doing. I don't need to wear the blue blockers because it's red light. It's low not very much from my electricity. The only reason I want to use lights is because it's dark. I don't want bright white lights because I want it to be like nighttime, So they're the perfect lights, and they're really cheap. I have to buy them on the internet though. I couldn't find anywhere to buy them on in local shops. Anyway, I just wanted to quickly tell you about that. Now, I was meaning to get them for ages, and they've been in my sort of like basket on eBay for a long time now. Because I had to buy a pack of 10, I think, you know, and but I'm glad I did. I'm gradually replacing all the lights in my flat with them. I like red lights, but you know, why have bright white light in the night time? I've been insomniac for a long time, so having these really dim red bulbs, it's a godsend. It's just great, you know. I already noticed that I'm sleeping better. I'm more relaxed. Okay, I'm going to make food now. So since I went like gluten-free, well, mostly gluten-free anyway, I found, and it's not just gluten-free, it's getting rid of grains out of my diet. Like mostly all grains. I try not to use grains. I still use them a little bit, but really like not very much. So I've been finding, instead of rice, I've been getting cauliflower and grating cauliflower, they call it riced cauliflower. So I grate cauliflower and use it instead of rice. So I've got some, this is another story. It's not chili con carne, but it's it's like a vegetarian chili con carne. It's just got like beans, black beans, tomato, onion, and well, it's wild garlic and stinging nettles, and olive oil, and if you know, it's really nice, and it goes really well with the rice cauliflower and some grated cheese on top, and it makes a really nice meal. So I'm having that now. Probably should get a food processor. This is like a lot of hassle. I'm sure if some sort of food processor would do this a lot quicker without all the hassle of it. That'll do. And one of the nice things about it is that it cooks really quickly. So I'm gonna have to keep going back to this subject. What's wrong with people? One of the things I like to do about when I make these videos is I've got this idea about making longer videos is because I get little ideas, right? And they're pretty much, I'm still basically kind of thinking in the box and looking at it with a longer time frame. I can remember the other ideas I've had. So I remember how, like, like how I get over these things, because I can get stuck on these ideas. You might realize this. I sometimes seem to get stuck on the same idea and keep repeating myself, but just changing the vocabulary around a little bit. A lot of my videos probably seem very similar to a lot of people. I'm talking about the same thing. So making a longer video gives me a chance to cover the different aspects of what I'm talking about in a nice spectrum, you know, like a nice rainbow sort of shaped sort of thing. And then I can find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's the idea, I suppose. It sounds like they're having an argument downstairs. Oh dear. It's probably a good sign in a way. They've been a really happy couple since about the last 2 months since they've moved in. Nice healthy argument. That's got to be good to go like. Around the new moon as well. I'll just try and ignore it, you know. It's got nothing to do with me. Yeah, I don't know them people at all. I'm not interested. Okay. So this book that I've been reading, The Black Sun. I'm really quite interested in this idea of the black sun. In terms of the work, I did cover it in the work, and it's like the astral plane, the lunar sphere, the moon. When you look at it from the Earth plane where we are, you look up the tree. Right in front of you, you've got the moon, and then beyond that, there is the sun. So when you look at the up the tree from the perspective of the Earth plane, the physical plane, what you see is an eclipse. The moon is right in front of the sun. So you know, essentially there is a black sun. But there's another aspect to this as well. Right, what is it? Oh yeah, when you do sun gazing, and the best time to do sun gazing is around sunrise or sunset. The shortest day of the year. So in the northern hemisphere, it's like 21st of December. So it'd be like 21st of June in the southern hemisphere. You know, for people that live in New Zealand or somewhere. When you look at the sun, because you gaze at the sun when it's very near the horizon, and you know, in the winter time when the days are short, it's no big deal. You can stare at the sun and for quite a few minutes, and it doesn't harm your vision at all. I mean, if the sun's up in the sky, the reason why it doesn't harm your vision when it's low down near the horizon in the winter time is because there's so much like atmosphere for the sun to travel through, that it basically your eyes are protected enough, you know, so it doesn't cause any serious damage to your eyes. What instead happens, what I've noticed happens, is that the sun suddenly starts going black. It becomes black, you know. It's like your whatever the parts of your eye is and your brain that deciphers visual input, it blocks it out so that the sun becomes black, and it can actually start flashing like, you know, like a glow, like a strobe light. You can see all sorts of patterns in there and stuff, and it affects your pineal gland. You know, it affects your pineal gland and opens it up and sort of stimulates it and stuff. It's really quite interesting. So that's what I think a lot of the idea of the black sun comes from, that sun gazing around days like, you know, 21st of December, you know, where the sun, sunrise, they got rituals about this, you know, all quite important rituals that have gone for hundreds or thousands of years. And it can profoundly affect the way that your body works, your health, your perception, your consciousness. It's really quite interesting stuff. This book was a bit of a letdown as far as that sort of thing is concerned. It's pretty crappy. You know, a lot of people, what people think about the black sun is, it's not really got much to do with what I understand about it, you know. I understand it in terms of you know, look after my food. I don't want to overcook my cauliflower. I like it to just have a little bit of bite in it, you know. One of the reasons when I do this argument downstairs, I really don't want to know. Okay, so I like to have the cauliflower to have a little bit of bite, so that when you have it with the beans and the everything else is quite well cooked. You know, the tomatoes have got like a nice flavour. My mum done this a lot when I was like, you know, 15 or 16 or something. We was all sitting around the table and eating this, what we thought was chili con carne, and it would usually have like some kidney beans and tomato and mushrooms and onion and garlic, courgette, and meat, like beef, minced beef, and maybe maybe a bit of chili. Well, yeah, we would have had chili and a little bit of mixed spice at the end, you know, to bring out the flavour. And we'd have it with rice. You know, you'd have some white rice, a nice load of chili con carne mixture on top, and some grated cheese, right? And we was all sitting around eating it, glasses of red wine, you know. My parents were quite forward thinking in terms of red wine. All us children, I think, were allowed to have it. I know I was about 15. I was allowed to drink red wine since I was about 14. Just a glass, you know, one glass with a meal. So we're all sitting around eating this meal. It seemed really nice. There was a really nice, relaxed atmosphere. Which is quite unusual, really. And all of a sudden, my mum just went, ah! She sort of breathed in, and she sort of like, ah! Like she had suddenly realised something terrible, you know. And everyone said, what's the matter? And she suddenly like realised what was going on. She said, oh, no, nothing, it's okay. And of course, like, you know, we wouldn't leave her, we wouldn't let her off the hook, you know. It was like, what is it? What's the matter? What you know, what have you just realised? And eventually, you know, it took a couple of minutes like to get it out of her. and she said, well, she forgot to put the meat in the chili con carne. And everyone had been eating it. Nobody realised there was no meat in it, you know. I think it was really funny. It's one of the nicest meals I had. I remember it in my childhood. It was really nice, you know. So that's what I've made today. It's basically the same thing. That must be the cauliflower must be ready now. So I'm just straining. I only put a little bit of water in the cauliflower. So I'll strain that out. Leave it on the heat. Turn it up a little bit again. What else have we got in here? Oh, lovely. What have we got there? One. I'll just let that heat through. So it's already cooked, you know. I'm just letting it heat through. Okay, so what's wrong with people? Now, these these people that wear black and blue, I'm thinking that they're like orcs. You know, they're the same. They're the orcs from Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. You know, it goes back to ancient times. It goes back to 180 years ago with the white people taking over the land of the American Indians, the native Indians. You know, they're just really got negative colours. They're very yin. You know, they're the colours of death. They're not noble colours. You know, I don't see them as noble colours at all. But then, so let's go back to this idea that people haven't got free will. Most people haven't got free will. So I think maybe these 80% of people that wear black and blue, maybe they've got no choice. They just don't have a choice. If the options are there, they will automatically go for black and blue. You know, it doesn't matter how many other colours there are, they will stick with black and blue because they just can't help themselves. They've got no free will. You know, they can't make a proper choice. That's what I'm assuming, because who would in their right mind would only wear black and blue all the time if they've got a whole load of other colours, you know, purple, green, all different types of green, you know, yellow, all different types of yellow, and gold and orange and red and pink, you know, turquoise, silver, gold. Bronze, white and green stripes, you know. You know, I wonder sometimes. I feel like we should go traveling, or I'd like to see some videos of other people where they live. Videos of other people, you know, like so I can see, you know, with my own eyes what other people wear, because I'm convinced everybody wears black and blue wherever you go. Hello, viewers. Why don't one of you make a video about where you live and show me the people, what color clothes they wear? Oh, that looks really good. I do like having no viewers. It's sort of very relaxing having not having any viewers. You know, I can watch it afterwards. You know, because I make these videos mainly for me. It's fun that way. So, like, you know, maybe in some distant future, maybe in like 20 years' time, I might make videos for other people deliberately, but generally my videos are for me. Okay. So I don't really try that hard to sort of make them that interesting or fun, although they're interesting and fun for me. Okay, let's just see what we're doing here. Oh yeah, let's make a drink. What's a nice change about this ouzo is that there's no chemicals in there. You know, with beer, there's loads of nasty stuff in there. With wine, they put sulfites in. You know, with ouzo, it's just ouzo and water, so it's. See, I don't know what it is, you people. I made a post about this. I think it was on G+, which doesn't exist anymore. So this is like Parmesan. What's it called? Parmigiano Reggiano DOP. I mean, do you get this cheese in? And can you even read it? You can't read it, can you? That's not very good, is it? You can't read it. It's too dark. No. No, can't read it. Can't read it. No. Oh well. Parmigiano Reggiano DOP, 30 months matured. It's from this region in Italy. And it's really tasty cheese. And I find it very hard to imagine eating a sort of tomato-based sort of Mediterranean dish without this kind of cheese on it. I know some people use mozzarella. You can get mozzarella and that for your pizzas and stuff. But This is the sort of cheese you want on spaghetti bolognese, you know, or lasagna or anything like that, you know. And it's partly unpasteurized. They heat it up to about 60 degrees C, but it still leaves some of the bacteria alive, and you get a really good flavor from it. And it's got living enzymes in it, so it's good for your digestive tract and that. Like a lot of pasteurized cheese, it's basically dead. Unless it's got living mold on it, but even then, it's just mold. It's no. Who wants to eat mold? You know, these things are good, healthy bacteria for your gut, and they make the cheese taste really nice as well. Very nutty. I don't know what you people do in America if you can't get this sort of cheese, because I can't even imagine. Oh, look at that! See. I'm a bit greedy with it. Yeah, I just use quite a lot. I haven't got that. Well, I've got a nice big plate of food, but it's just like I've made a nice big portion of grated cheese. I mean, that probably looks more than it is. You know, it's only about a little sort of inch cube, or just 1.5 inches sort of cube bit of cheese, but it looks quite a lot once it's been grated. Oh, lovely. There's my spoon. There it is. See, it just looks like a chili with cheese. It's so good, this cheese, though. And I mean, this meal is like really nice. Instead of having rice and having the cauliflower rice, it's, I used to eat rice a lot with this kind of food. Not that much, but for years I hardly ate it actually. But once I discovered cauliflower rice and courgette or zucchini pasta, because you can sort of use a little thing to make it into sort of strips, like similar sort of shape and to spaghetti. It's such a great alternative. You know, my health has definitely improved. I mean, it tastes the same. It basically tastes the same. It just goes down better. It digests much more, you know, easily, and you feel healthier. You know. Mm. Oh yeah. Also, I much prefer these black beans, black turtle beans, to kidney beans. It makes a nice change for me to eat vegetarian food. You know, I've not eaten vegetarian food for a long time. I mean, not consistently. Going back about 20 years, you know, between 20 and 30 years ago, I was mainly vegetarian. I almost used to only eat vegetarian food. I would eat meat probably about once a month, just a small amount, you know, about once a month. I just eat like just a very small amount of meat, just to sort of give myself a little bit of meat in my diet. I probably didn't do me much good. But you know, it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I'd like to believe that actually probably did do me some good. This is so nice. Such a nice change from wine and beer. Mm. Oh yeah, you can tell from like vegetarian food, it's like you're going to just digest it easier. It's going to go through your system a lot quicker. There's loads of good stuff in here. The cauliflower is really good for your digestive tract. You know, it's got some stuff in there, probably a whole bunch of stuff that's really good for your, you know, digestive tract. These black beans, not only have they got in terms of beans, they've got the highest amount of resistant starch. I think it's called resistant starch. And it's some sort of like roughage or fiber that's really beneficial for your digestive tract as well. Then I've got like the stinging nettle tops, which are just really packed with nutrition. And then the wild garlic, which is really like a specific remedy for your veins and your arteries. It helps to renew the lining of your arteries and veins and stuff. The tomatoes have been cooked down with the olive oil, so they're also good for your heart and got loads of other benefits. And the unpasteurized cheese, I'm sure that's probably got some other benefits as well. Probably got vitamin K2 in there. Also good for your heart and circulation. Not only that, but it tastes really good as well. Mm. So I reckon for a lot of people, if you didn't know that it didn't have meat in it, if someone told you it was chili con carne, you probably wouldn't say, "Has this got any meat in it?" You wouldn't even notice. You might ask, "Has it got any chili in it?" I don't think it's got any chili in it, actually. That's the only difference. It's got no chili. Okay. So what is wrong with people? Maybe nothing. Maybe there's nothing wrong with them. Maybe they're just doing what they're supposed to do. I still think we shouldn't have the written word. The only way we're going to get rid of all the people and the written word and stop destroying the planet is to kill off the majority of people that are too stupid and have got no free will. We need to kill them off or turn them into sort of like fodder or something. I can't see a straightforward way out of it. It all looks horrifying to me. It's a good job I'm not in charge then, isn't it? When you put this cheese on here, it just disintegrates into nothing. You can't even hardly tell it's there. It's still got a nice balance of vitamins and amino acids and minerals and stuff, though. See, I like the idea of these videos being ready for people who want to watch somebody talking. And the thing is, these things are I do in the morning. You know, sort of like 10, 11 o'clock sort of time. You want to be talking to someone, say from 9 o'clock till 10 or 11. You want to talk to someone face to face, you know, and set you up for the day, put you in a good mood, You know, feel like you're not totally alone. You haven't been isolated. You haven't been scapegoated or treated like with contempt by the rest of society that are all a bunch of monsters anyway. So you should feel actually good that they've rejected you, you know. They don't know what they're doing. They've got no free will. That's the way to think about these things. If you have got free will, now I'd like to think that my videos are designed for people who have got free will. Unfortunately, that means I'm probably not going to get many views. I'm actually thinking recently. I've been thinking, maybe I haven't got free will. You know, I've been trying to quit alcohol for a long time, and it just seems like whenever I try, however hard I try, just shit happens. It's like, I can't really understand it, or I don't know how to get around it. You know, it's like the more I try to cut down on alcohol, the more I end up buying more alcohol. You know, it's really fucking stupid. It's so annoying. So it makes me think that maybe I haven't actually got free will. I'd like to think if I had free will, I could quit drinking alcohol. You know, it'd be straightforward. But you know, I've really been trying. It's like it doesn't. The harder I try, the harder it gets. It's like there's some sort of thing. If I make an effort to stop drinking, then the resistance to me stop drinking goes up, and it's just like, you know, it can be very, very fucking frustrating. Extremely frustrating. The annoying thing is that the frustration becomes another barrier, and then that tends to make you drink more alcohol as well. And you know, it's like, what the fuck? So I start thinking maybe I haven't got any free will. Maybe when I try to when I don't want to, maybe God is absolutely determined for me to live and die an alcoholic. You know. So there's things like this that make me think maybe the devil was right. Maybe the devil was right to sort of go against God. God is a fucking total piece of shit, and he makes everyone's lives fucking so narrow and stupid and pathetic. You know, so that he can be the boss. He's a vampire. He's a fucking total vampire, and he's got us like under the thumb, and he's basically looking down on us like, you know, we're his slaves. You know, and he's not being fair about it at all. Well, you know, why don't you come and face me then? You know, let's put some gloves on and let's. And yeah, but the thing is, God's going to cheat, isn't he? You can't trust God. This is the problem. It's like God's not going to give you a fair fight. You don't even have to think about it. It's obvious. There's no point even trying to like debate it. It's inevitable. It's already not fair. So why would it ever be fair? If God made it a fair fight, he might do, but you wouldn't be prepared. He would be prepared, and he'd punch your fucking head in, but you wouldn't be prepared. And then you basically say, well, we had the same strength, we had the same energy, blah blah blah. You just didn't fight properly. It's your own fault. You lost. God would know this in advance. You know, he'd know he was going to win. He'd know you're going to lose, and he wouldn't go into it in any other way because he might lose. He wouldn't risk losing, would he? I mean, that's what I would do if I was God. Probably. don't even believe in a God. I don't think it's possible that there can be a God. Hi, Mary Part. I tried that. I tried it. Yeah. I mean, if you can think of anything else, you know, do give me some ideas, because, but I have already tried that, you know. I've tried both them things. Ah, dear. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I got some beer that was very weak. It was like 4%. I just ended up drinking more, and then what happens is I drink too much liquid, and then I have to piss it all out, and then my body pissing is losing minerals. So then I start getting muscle cramps in my knees, in my legs. You know, so you know there can be. You might think that I should be able to just try things, and I've tried a lot of different things, and some of these things they sound quite reasonable, but when you actually try them, they can cause you serious health problems. You know, getting leg cramps is not good. You know, because it's only one step away from getting heart cramps. You know, which is like a heart attack. So it's like I can't afford to make mistakes like that. You know. But if you know, thanks for the encouragement and the idea. But they need to be a bit more. I don't know. I've tried loads of things. You know, I've tried. I've tried loads of things. I don't want to list them all. There's too many things I've tried. Vitamins. You know, let me just try and explain the problem with vitamins. The vitamins, you know, things like vitamins, you know, B vitamins and vitamin C after you've had a drink, so that you don't get so much of a hangover. Then you feel much better the next day, and so you feel like you can drink more. And I would like to not drink more, but it's like it's like I'm two different people, and I can't trust myself. You know, I'll take these things like He Shall Wu as well. You know, certain vitamins and herbs and stuff I can take, and I feel much better the next day. So I feel like I don't need to drink, but then I drink anyway, and then I drink to excess because I feel better. I don't know how to stop it. I don't know how to get control of myself. It's literally like I don't have free will. The more I try to work at it, it's like my subconscious takes control of the reins and steers me in a direction where I end up drinking loads of alcohol. And I don't know how to stop it. Yeah. You know, that's what it's interesting. These scientists, they've done all these experiments with I guess with people, and they come to this conclusion that we don't have free will. The amount of free will we have is so tiny compared to what we imagine it must be, that it's basically virtually non-existent. You know, it's that's one of the things about the work. You know, it's like trying to find out what free will is and how to access it. It's like it's like you need some sort of computer code, you know, like a password to get into it, you know. Okay. Ah, dear. You know, I just don't trust myself. I don't trust my subconscious. You know, I keep having these fantasies like I'm gonna like overcome my subconscious. I'm gonna learn to stop. I'm gonna quit drinking. I'm gonna prepare it, you know, and I'm gonna do stuff that's gonna stop me drinking. And then when I try, it's just the next day, if with less than 24 hours, it's like, and it's happened so many times. It's like I've beaten down this path in my brain, like a pathway, you know, of like thought processes and thought patterns. I've got beaten down this pathway so that every time I try to quit drinking, it's like I just fall down this pathway, and it leads to me drinking alcohol again straight away within like 12 hours or so. And it's fucking embarrassing. It's really annoying. It's fucking embarrassing. It makes me look really stupid. Like and I've got no control. You know, I've got no control over my life. What the fuck's wrong with me? I'm intelligent. You know, I should have more control. Why haven't I got this control? What's stopping me? What the fuck is happening? You know, and the language that I have to use about it. You know, it's like I don't even know what the right language to use is. I don't know how to ask the right questions. You know, it's like I say to myself, "How do I quit drinking alcohol?" I say it out loud. How do I quit drinking alcohol? I'll say it on video. How do I quit drinking alcohol? There is no answer, and it's just like I just end up going back to alcohol, and it's just so fucking stupid, so incredibly irritating, so embarrassing. You know, and it's like, and all those things act like another wedge, just pushing me to drink alcohol in order to avoid having to deal with it. So what we need to do is sort of face up to this sort of stupidity and say, look, this is a demon of ignorance. It's just sort of like feeding, squirting sort of nasty, the wrong chemicals into my brain, making me feel humiliated and embarrassed and stupid and stuff. And actually, I've got to realize that that's got nothing to do with me. That's the demon of ignorance. That's the devil. You know, I'm quite happy drinking herbal tea, and he says, and water, and eating proper food, and doing exercise, and getting good sleep, and taking supplements. You know, what's that thing? Fake it till you make it. You know, just tell yourself all the stuff that you need to tell yourself, so that when you accomplish your goals, they will be the truth, even if they're not necessarily the truth now. You tell yourself that that's what I'm doing, that's how I'm going, you know. I'm winning this, you know. I'm a winner. Because it's like knowing what language do I use? The language I've got to basically make it work in my favor. And if it sounds like lies, well, I don't care. I can't. If I speak the truth, it's like it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it goes completely against me. And it goes against my wishes and my desires for the future. So I can't speak about the truth. I have to speak about the future as if it was the now. So that sounds like a lie, and I don't want to lie, but I don't see any choice. I have to. That's one of the reasons I get really pissed off with the English language, because I know it's been corrupted. That's another interesting thing, actually, I've got to talk about. Now, have you seen that film, The Time Machine? H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. There's two or three different versions. Anyway, he goes into the future in this time machine, and what he finds is that humans have divided into two different types. You've got the cannibals, which are called the Morlocks, and the Eloi, which are like vegans. They just eat fruit, you know, fruit maybe and vegetables. And they look like Aryans, you know, like perfect Aryans with blonde hair and blue eyes, and they all eat fruit and vegetables, and they all seem quite happy and relaxed and simple-minded. When the hero sort of like sees one of them fall in a river and start to drown, he also notices that no one tries to save this woman, so he jumps in and saves her. And then when he goes and talks, because in the later version, the more recent version, he goes and talks to the Morlocks, and he meets one of the head Morlocks, the cannibals, and he explains to them that, you know, about roughly something about the fact that, you know, people are just too stupid, and you know, they need to be, you know, eaten, and like it's just nature. You know, you've got predators and prey. It's just repeating the old patterns. Most likely, cats and sheep, you know, like lions and sheep, were probably the same species at one point, but, you know, there was some sort of difficulty. You know, there was a shortage of food. You know, if a species becomes too successful, it ends up eating all its food. So then what happens? You need a predator to keep the numbers down. So what's the logical progression from the way we're going now is that certain humans are going to have to become cannibals to keep the population down, and it's inevitable. That's what when we're doing it to ourselves. But you can't. Most people can't deal with this kind of reality. They can't talk about it. They can't face up to it because it makes them look stupid. It makes them feel stupid, just like I feel most of the time. You know. And that's probably why I drink alcohol. Is that I don't want to deal with the reality of that. We're all heading to this place where either I'm going to have to eat other humans or they're going to eat me. You know, that's the direction we're going in. And I know I'm going to start stockpiling loads of probably some loads of soy sauce or something. And Chinese 5-spice and chili sauce and stuff, you know. Barbecue sauce. Interesting note. Yeah, taco seasoning. interesting thing though, it's probably not going to last forever. At least according to Hindu tradition, it should just go for a certain amount of time, and then we'd go back into the golden age. You know, once we've eaten all the sort of stupid people, there'll only be intelligent people left, and there'll be no more stupid people. So we can start a new golden age. You know, the gene pool would have been cleansed up to a certain extent. You know, we can start going back to eating proper food. Maybe we'll bioengineer or gene engineer some sort of food that's really harmonious for our lifespan. It will make us live for thousands of years. I'll just leave a little bit for feng shui purposes, but it went down. It seems to have gone down really well. Yes, I made this video like a few days ago. Yeah, I think you saw it, Mindrape Art, or some of it anyway. It went on for 12 hours. So I know I can make videos for a long time. A 12-hour video, that's quite an accomplishment. You know, it's like me holding my breath for 4 minutes without any oxygen in my lungs, without any air in my lungs a couple of weeks ago. That was quite an accomplishment, you know. So although I feel tired at the moment, I feel like I've got allergies and stuff. You know, I've got black mold in my flat. It's not very good for me to live here. I should be moving out. I'd like to be more positive about my future and stuff, but you know, I don't know. There's another thing. I've got to go back to this. Why are people so like bad? What's wrong with people? I mean, why do I think there's things wrong with people? Maybe it's just that they haven't got free will. They're just doing what comes naturally. They can't help themselves. Like maybe the way I can't help myself not drinking alcohol, quitting alcohol. Or you, Mindrape, you know, can't do the stop overeating or whatever. But I'm just. If there isn't an answer to this, then I don't see any point in this world. You know, there's no point being here. If I can't have any control over my life, there's no point in anything. It all becomes meaningless. You know, I'm determined for there to be some sort of point, and that means that I have to have free will. I must be able to stop. I must be able to quit drinking alcohol. There has to be a way, you know. I'm not going to accept that I have to just keep drinking alcohol and there's nothing I can do about it. I just won't accept it. I refuse to accept it. There's got to be a way, and there must be a way. And if there isn't, I just feel like there's. I don't know. That is, to me, is really fucking depressing. If there is no option, if I can't stop drinking because I haven't got free will, then God is a fucking piece of shit. You know, God is like just it should be, it has to be destroyed. It's like we have to pull the plug on God, you know. And how if I've got no free will, maybe I'm not even allowed to do that. Maybe I can't do it. You know, again, it just all goes back to something too stupid to deal with. It's like, maybe that's what I need to do. You need to go into this sort of darkness, this ignorance, this idea that, you know, maybe God is really, really, really fucking pathetic and stupid, like a real piece of shit. And he hasn't got any choice, and he hasn't got any free will, or she, or they. Maybe we need just to go into, maybe they're in some sort of like box, and you need to open the box and just punch them all until they're dead, you know, like that Stephen King movie, It, you know. They've got all this power and stuff, and you just need to kill them, you know, to make everything okay again. Now, sometimes I think God is like that, and just God is the enemy. It's a power, it's a centralized power system. And what seems to happen is that power corrupts, power is always evil. So kill God and then run and hide and don't tell anyone, and wait until everything calms down and just act like you don't know what's happened, you know. You'd probably be in paradise then, you know. Maybe that's how Adam came about, you know. He murdered God and then acted like he didn't know what anyone was talking about. So they all treated him like he was God because he seemed to have free will. He could do what he liked. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's how the Bible started, you know. Somebody murdered God. But that would mean that God's dead, you know. But I think God gets reborn. It's like we invent God, we reinvent God, because we need there to be some sort of explanation and some sort of cause for all the shit that happens. Ah, fuck. See, one of the things about talking about giving up alcohol, it's like it's very difficult to talk about it without talking in such a way that you create a self-fulfilling prophecy. If I talk about the difficulties about giving up alcohol, the words come out like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, so I'm really reluctant to talk about it, and it's so then I can't talk about it online. I can't talk about it to myself, but I do anyway, you know. But I really like to know a way of talking about it where it actually helps me to quit drinking. You know, how can I quit drinking? What are the benefits that's what I need to ask. What are the benefits from quitting alcohol? I don't know. That's another thing. It's like I've seen people who've given up drinking and they look a bit pasty, you know. They don't look all that healthy. They seem a bit not very interesting, a bit boring. So there's not a good. It's not like a good look, you know. It's like what is the good stuff of not drinking or not smoking, you know? Is just living a long time a good enough reason to stop drinking and stop smoking? If your life's really boring and you're going to be surrounded by fucking idiot monsters and you're going to end up in an old people's home, I mean, what's the fucking point? You know? So it seems like I'm already getting to that point, you know, where it's unlikely that I'm going to get like another girlfriend in the rest of my life. I mean, I don't really know why that is. It's like it shouldn't be like that. But, you know, again, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I should have loads of wives. I should have like about 20 wives. I actually had a friend from years ago. He started his own cult. This guy, Dave, I won't mention his second name. You might check him out. But this guy, Dave, he started his own cult and he got loads of wives. Apparently, from what I last heard about him, he got about 20 or so women pregnant. See, that sounds like the way to go to me, you know. But it's a bit of a responsibility, but it's probably better than just sitting in your own flat doing nothing, you know, and just getting drunk and smoking all the time. Again, harm. It depends what you mean by harm, you know. I've been doing this cold therapy, right? So I'm jumping in the cold water or an ice bath or something, and it hurts. My body's hurting, you know. I mean, if you're lifting weights, your body is, you know, the whole point of it is that you're going to do your body harm. You know, you're going to damage your muscles, and they're going to regrow and get stronger. That's the whole point of it. It's the same with the cold therapy. Your body, the whole point is to do your body some harm, make it react and overcompensate to sort of like boost your immune system, you know, overcompensate to make you healthier. But a part of it is to do harm. It's how your immune system works. You know, it responds to pathogens and stuff in your body, you know. You know, this it's like getting a balance, you know. I don't know, you know, it's like one aspect of doing the work is to find your limits, find what your limits are. Find ways where you can make the most of your life. You know, you can sort of turn positives into negative, turn negatives into positives. And things like that, you know, so that you end up with more control, more knowledge, and more, yeah, more of the ability to sort of make your life how you want it. Now, to a certain extent, I've gotten some of that from doing the work. Yeah. Yeah, sure. One of the reasons I drink alcohol is like it gets me. It gets my juices going. You know, it enables me to get in touch with my passions and feel passionate about stuff. It doesn't take very long for me to not drink alcohol, and I start feeling like I'm grinding to a halt. And I can start panicking. And even though I do know if I just go like 4 or 5 days or 10 days without alcohol, I will start feeling better. I know that. It's just getting past those first few days. I know I should be able to. It's like the more I try to do it, the more harder it is. If it happens by accident, then I'm gonna have to stop this video because it's sort of like even thinking about it. It starts like I don't know how to think about it without getting stressed out, and that doesn't help me at all. About 2 years ago, I went. The longest I've been without alcohol was about 10 days, right? Since I was 14 years old, or even probably about 12 years old. The longest I've been is 10 days without alcohol. That was about 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago, I think it was about 2 years ago. Hang on, 2.5 years ago, yeah. Yeah, it was about sort of September, October sort of time, 2.5 years ago. And I started feeling a lot better. I was sleeping better. I had more energy, and I just felt a lot better. And then I just started drinking again. And as soon as I started drinking, it's just like I'm straight into drinking every day, drinking heavily. I should have just carried on not drinking. And so when I tried to get back into that period of like not drinking, it's virtually impossible. There's like this subconscious block. It's like a wall. that it's like when I try to get through the wall, it's like a concrete wall. I can't get through it. I'm having to hit a concrete wall with my bare hands, and all it does is hurt my hands. You know, it's extremely fucking annoying, and talking about it creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. So even talking about it or thinking about it, it seems to cause more problems and more damage, you know, and I just don't know how to deal with it. It seems impossible to deal with. The more harder I try, the more work I put into trying to deal with it and to overcome the obstacle and to get through this barrier, the more strong the barrier. It's like a force field, and it grows. The more effort I put into it, the stronger it grows, the stronger the barrier becomes. You know, it's like that. And so it's excruciating. It's excruciating in how annoying it is and how stressful it makes you. And that creates another like feedback loop. The more excruciating it is, the more easy it is for you to drink more alcohol again. You know, it's like that. It's like, how the fuck do you deal with this shit? It's like, oh, well, why don't I just stop drinking alcohol for like a week and then see how I feel? But I can't even go 12 hours. You know, the more planning I put into it, the more stressed out I get, and the more I start drinking again. It's like there doesn't seem to be any way at all of tackling this problem that doesn't make it worse. You know, this is what happens. It's like the harder you try to get around the problem, the harder the problem becomes, and the more, you know, the bigger it becomes, and it just takes up all the space. And it doesn't matter what you do, and talking about it just makes it worse, and thinking about it makes it worse. So it doesn't matter what I do. There's nothing that I can do that doesn't make the problem worse and bigger and more impossible to deal with. You know. Yeah. That I would like to have someone here to help me. I've tried talking to the benefits people. You know, the people where I get my when I've tried to get help with my health problems. I try talking to them about this sort of stuff. Even then, it's almost impossible to talk about it properly. It's like carrying around a fucking vehicle or something, like a small car. You know, you can't do it. It's not fucking possible to try and keep it all in my mind when I've got other things to do because of. Even explaining it is fucking a nightmare. Explaining the difficulties, because it's not like I haven't tried all these things. You know, another problem with talking about it and trying to get ideas off people is that people are going to just come up with ideas spontaneously. I'm not saying they're bad ideas. It's just that, you know, you have to. The problem is I've been working at this for like over 30 years, and I'm not stupid. I'm quite intelligent. I've got a high IQ. I've tried so many different ways of approaching it, right? That I've just basically, it feels like I've used up all the fucking ideas, and I'm still not getting anywhere. So it's really, I start thinking that I probably haven't got any free will. You know, it just doesn't matter how hard I try or what I try to do. Anyone can come up with an idea that might make sense to them, and I start thinking that we're all the same, because when I look at the rest of the world, I see everyone else is like no one else seems to have any free will. Where the fuck's the free will gone? Where's it all gone? There doesn't seem to be any. You know, people are still destroying the planet. Why are we destroying the planet? Why don't people stand up against cannabis being illegal, for example? There's no good reason for it. Why don't we all get together and find the people responsible and tear their fucking faces off? You know, like they deserve. They're fucking monsters. Why don't we all gang up against them? What's wrong with us? What's wrong with people? You know, there doesn't seem to be any answer. I remember reading about this, and I'm starting to think this is probably a rational idea. These people think that God is a complete fucking sadist, and I come up to along like these sort of like come to these like conclusions that we've got no free will, and I can see where they're coming from. You know, when people think that God is a complete fucking sadistic monster, you know, that's created us all in such a way that we've got no free will, that we feel like we should have some free will, but when we try to activate it and try to put it in place, it doesn't work, you know. And then you just want to kill someone, you know. And then probably what happens if you let that thing, you end up killing the wrong people and go to prison, you know, and just make the world look like a really fucked up, stupid place. And it's all God's fault, and God done it deliberately. He's a real fucking piece of shit, a real arsehole. It's all deliberate. You've got no free will. Your life is a nightmare, and God, it's all a big joke to God, and that's all it is. You know, the only one that benefits is God. He just has a good laugh, making you look stupid and foolish and make a total fuck up of your life. And the only benefit is that God has a good laugh about it, or a little chuckle, you know, probably. Ah, dear. I know that I'm sure there are some sort of like I probably should go and try another one of those fucking what they call like the 12-step programs or Alcohol Anonymous or something like that, you know, just to give it a try. I've never really, I tried it once, and these people just really pissed me off, right? Oh, I'm gonna have to make a cigarette. I hate even talking about this stuff, but I don't know what else to do. You know, if you don't talk about it, how do you make progress? I'm not making progress by not talking about it, so I might as well talk about it, even though talking about it seems to be like a dead end. You know. At least I can laugh about it, I suppose. I used to get really fucking pissed off about these things, but at least I can I'm gradually getting like more relaxed about it, you know. Talking about it in a relaxed way, that's the only way to deal with it, really. If you can talk about it in a relaxed way, that gives you much more of an open mind. If you're stressed out, you can't think so clearly. So having a laugh, talking about it in a relaxed way, that's probably the best way, you know. You stand more chance of like finding ways around it and overcoming it and that. Oh. Just an angel in disguise. Oh. I mean, it can get really tiring. I just feel like there should be some straightforward way out of it. Another thing about the Matrix, the way the world is set up, there should be somewhere for people like me to go where there isn't any alcohol and I can get like easy sort of like simple food, you know, and massages, you know, and conversation, do some manual work, you know, some looking after some trees and vegetables and some digging or something, you know, collecting firewood, doing a bit of fishing or something, you know, have a simple life just to sort of get away from drugs and alcohol, you know, for a few weeks. And you know, that would be a simple fucking solution to this problem. And yet I'm putting so much energy and effort in trying to stop something that should be really straightforward. And for me, it seems impossible. And I'm just wasting my life trying to sort of, this is why I don't try too hard, because I know the harder I try, the more difficult it is, you know, and there should be a fucking straightforward answer to this. And everyone, the government, all the people are making sure that there's no options for people like me. All I've got is to go to the shop and get more beer. That's the only options available. And what happens then? The money goes to the government. The tax goes to the government. You know, so they get their pay, you know, their money, and they're happy. And there's no options for people like me. There's no fucking straightforward, healthy options. You know, it's like I can't. It creates huge amounts of like anger and just intolerable fucking contempt and indignation, just a fire. It's like this fire, this burning fire inside me that just wants to come out, you know, because I know this should not be happening. There should be options for people like them. There should be fucking options, more natural, safer, you know, straightforward options. There should be like a place where I can go and live away from all the fucking drugs and alcohol and stuff, where I've got a simple life for a few months so I can get it out of my system. Why isn't it available? Well, why can't I find it? It's so straightforward. It's so fucking simple. It's so totally straightforward and simple. The only reason that it's not available is that you're all the fucking devil. You're all Agent Smith. You know, or at least 95% of you are Agent Smith. You're all totally evil, demonic monsters. That's the only reason why that's the only possible reason why there is no place for people like me to get out of this fucking nightmare. You know, there's no way for me to escape from it. It should be fucking completely straightforward. All I'm doing is wasting all you taxpayers' money. You're paying loads of money for me to sit here and drink alcohol for decades on end when I should be working. You know, I want to work. You know, I want to work. I don't want to sit here drinking alcohol and smoking fucking cannabis and datura. I want to be working. I want to be a fucking a proper fucking social part of society. I want to be part of the fucking system. But you've made it impossible for me. And therefore, I fucking hate you all. I really, really hate you all. You've made it impossible for me to be part of the fucking of society, to feel like I belong in this world. So you've made it so that I've got nothing but contempt for you all. It's so straightforward. It's so fucking simple. There should just be somewhere where I can live for a few months and just do simple, straightforward work. There's no alcohol. There's no drugs. They're just simple, straightforward food. And, you know, I can get on and do some simple work, you know, look after some trees, look after some vegetables. It's incredibly simple. That's what the problem is. It's fucking too simple. You people with all your bureaucracy and the written word, you make it too complicated. So that it becomes inaccessible for people like me. There's no way for me to access it. So I'm stuck using all your money to drink alcohol, and I don't even want to drink it. I'm trying everything I fucking can to stop drinking it, and I don't know how to stop. It fucking makes me extreme. This is and it becomes like traumatic stress. The whole problem is so traumatizing. It creates a feedback loop, and there's no way out of it. And so I end up hating people. I don't want to hate people. I don't want to hate people. I feel bad about hating you all. I don't want to hate you, but you don't give me a fucking option. I've got no options. I've got no free will. That's what it is. You've made it so that I can't have any free will in terms of hating you all. So I have to hate you because you won't give me any other choices. You know, this is the sort of reason why those kids go to school with a gun and they shoot loads of people. They shoot all their classmates because they end up feeling like I'm feeling. They feel like you people have made your life so incredibly horrible and impossible. You know, and for no good reason. There should be. It's like why you had to wipe out all the fucking Native American Indians. They had a simple life, but you couldn't stand it, could you? You couldn't stand them having a simple life and just living by killing the old few buffaloes. You know, which there was millions of buffaloes. So just kill a few buffaloes, eat the meat, and carry on. Live your life, being in tune with nature. You people couldn't stand it, could you? All you agents, all you fucking Legion demons out there, all you people that haven't got any souls, you're just fucking parasites. You couldn't stand that there were people living a simple, honourable life, you know, without any written word, you know, because really they're showing you that you are sick. All you people that wear black and blue. You're sick as dogs. You're total vampires. You're monsters. And so what do? You have to turn everyone into you. Just like Agent Smith has to sort of turn everyone else into another Agent Smith. You're fucking all totally sick. Totally fucking sick. Prison. Yeah, it's fucking fucked up, isn't it? Makes no sense. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Well, it's nice that you've managed to stick by me, Mind Braveheart. Obviously, I'm talking generally, not to everyone. I know there are people out there that can think outside the box. You seem to be able to be one of those people. I know if I could get individual people to talk to in a room by myself, I could probably get a lot of them to sort of see the truth if I had enough time and I had enough patience. But as soon as you get like a group of people or like the internet or, YouTube and that, it's like it only takes a few people to sort of like put a few ideas across that don't really fit or that are like sort of agent demonic ideas, and it's like a domino effect. People just like anyway, I'm getting tired. I'm still here. I don't really see any point in carrying on this video. I'm just going to quit it now. Anyway, thanks for watching. I don't expect anyone to thumb up my videos or, subscribe to my channel because it's the new moon. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good time. Have a good day, I suppose. Try to kill some vampires while you're out there, you know. Yeah, I suppose that's one reason to keep. That's one of the reasons I sort of stick with it, you know. Maybe we'll see them all like burn or something. Right, you take care too, Mind Ray Park. Cheers.